Jay here, Stretford, Paddock, and this is the Brew. As you may have noticed, Stephen Howson isn't here.
Where is he?
He's away.
Where?
Up in Tills, probably, digging holes, whatever it is he does.
The other way, ain't he in Devon or something?
What are you doxing him for? Don't tell people where
sorry,
he is.
yeah.
Now you're going to have the Devon Mafia on his case.
True, yeah.
We don't know where he is. He might be in Devon, he might be somewhere else. So we've had to sort of scrape the bottom of the barrel to get a replacement.
You're always on.
Get the dregs. Do you know what I mean? The dregs. We messaged everyone. I've been round the clock messaging, ringing, emailing, tweeting, DMing, trying to get anyone to replace Howson, and we couldn't get anyone, so we've had to get Joe.
You're sick! You're sick in the head for saying that about me on a Friday of all days.
Have you got that Friday feeling?
I have, you know.
Right, because
I've got that Friday feeling like you wouldn't believe. It's the first Friday since United won the FA Cup.
Is it?
Is it?
Yeah, it must be.
It must be.
Yeah.
Which means that for the first time in about 8 months, I can actually be excited. Because the weekend cannot be spoiled by Manchester United. Yeah. And the last weekend of the season, which, let's be honest, if you're in a cup final, paints the picture of the whole season retrospectively, was a good one. Now I can walk into this weekend with excitement. There's a Champions League final to look forward to. There's probably some other sort of things, sporting events to look forward to. We're drifting towards Euros, Olympics season. Yeah? I saw some on social media featuring you. I've just remembered. Talking about Mainoo. Huh?
Yeah. On Instagram or something. There was like some BBC thing or something.
What's this?
Like, this is genuine. It's not a sketch. This is true. Right, let me ask you a question.
Right, is this going to be one of those things where you've given a video to Ollie and it's some like big fat racist bloke and you're going to pretend it's me?
Mate, you are clinically insane. What are you on about, right? Just shut up a minute. Let me ask you a question. Right, this is quite simple. Have you been interviewed by anyone talking about Mainoo recently that may have posted that on a major platform? Has any channel interviewed you?
Honestly,
yeah,
I don't know.
Mate, you're far too young to be suffering from memory loss.
I've spoke about him loads, but was it on here? Was it on Talk?
It was on Instagram,
was it
which
on
is
BBC?
what I've just said.
I don't know.
Right.
They come to me and that's it.
And because you're so rubbish and you're never on social media, right? By the way, if you ever try and like tag Joe in something or speak to him on socials, you may as well send a carrier pigeon to talk to him because he's like the worst guy in the world on socials, right? Someone, I think it was the BBC.
Really?
Someone from the BBC, right? And this is, I know this makes great viewing, but I'm going to do it anyway. Posted something, and it was you waffling on with yourself as you do but you were part of a package, and it was talking about Mainoo.
Really?
And I was going to say, I forgot to say to you at the time, remind you, because I thought he won't see that because he just never goes on socials. But yeah, you were talking about Mainoo and saying how good he is. I'm trying to find it now.
When's the last time you were part of someone's package?
I was part of the package on the pre-match final, the pre-match cup final package.
You did a lot, didn't you?
If you remember.
What we're going to be talking
about? I think it was the BBC.
What we're talking about today anyway, do you know?
BBC. That was who posted, but it's not there anymore because it was on a story, and you obviously didn't see it.
I don't think I was tagged in it. Genuinely,
you were on it.
But I must have been talking complimentarily about him. If that's even a word.
If you weren't, I would have disowned you. And you certainly would be sat on this channel or this. I can't shut you off the channel, but you certainly would be sat on the Brew.
That's true.
But no, you were saying lovely things about him because he's awesome.
He is. We're going to be talking about a little bit Champions League, aren't we? A little bit about this new strategy that United.
We'll get it right. We'll get into
and a little bit of fluff as well.
We'll get into that later, because no one really cares. There's a good selling, there's a good selling technique for this show. No one really cares about what's on the thumbnail, do we? But you was telling me, what was you telling me you've been watching? Because you want to talk about something you've been watching as well.
This
is the Brew, right?
We don't need to talk about it much.
We do. In the full, spirit of this show. This is Friday afternoon. Yeah. We're having a wind down. Yeah, we've spoke about transfers.
It's
and
Friday, I'm in love.
And, you know what I mean? United and that. Yeah. And whether Eric Ten Hag's going to go, whether he's going to stay, and whether it's going to be De Zerbi or Pochettino, or whether Jim Ratcliffe's going to make everyone pay for parking at the Carrington because he's saving money. All that shit. Yeah. Right? Talk to me. What's happening in the world of films?
I watched Another Round. again last night.
Did you?
Thomas Vinterberg directing.
You're so learned.
It's not particular because it's Mads Mikkelsen, who's like the baddie in Casino Royale.
Yeah.
He's in
Hannibal.
Yeah. He's a Hollywood actor. He's in Marvel films. It's not like I'm picking out someone's A-level project from the 1950s in Czechoslovakia.
Yeah.
If that was even a country in the 1950s.
It was.
Okay. It is just a big film. But it's about the cons, but crucially, some of the pros of drinking. And maybe you're not the person to talk about this with.
Well, I think I am.
It's maybe exactly. You're probably perfect for it. But it's one of the best depictions of blokes having fun while boozing that I've ever seen on camera.
But I like it because it sort of covers all the bases.
Yeah.
Because it's not just there's an element of blokes having fun. There's an element of blokes actually up in the game because of a bit of drinking, they're becoming a bit more sociable, even getting a little bit better at the job, and it's all gravy, baby. And then, as happened with me, one of them in particular, I don't want to plot spoil it, but his life unravels very quickly.
Things go downhill for some or all of them to certain degrees, to varying degrees. But within that are these just incredible moments of like blokes having a laugh in a non sort of nasty, non-sexual, non-like aggressive way. And you just think that is drinking and social life at its best. When they're just it's like an experiment. They basically, the film runs on this theory that
Go on, you can do this.
That humans were born with 0.05% too little alcohol in their blood.
Right.
So essentially, your job is to top it up to 0.05%, which is roughly 1 to 2 glasses of wine. Do you know that first little buzzy
that you get? Is it true that humans were also born with 0.04% too less cocaine in their system?
See, the film never tackles that question, Jay. It never goes into that realm.
Right.
But
okay.
Maybe
the sequel could say you actually born with 0.2%. So it's less heroin than you should have.
You're born with 1 less bag of coke up your nose than you should.
Right.
No, it doesn't enter that realm, but it talks about drinking. And I'm going out for some beers tonight after work.
To continue the theme of the film.
And genuinely, I've never been more excited for beers in my entire life. There's one bit, and it's not a spoiler, but they're testing 0.05% alcohol in your blood. That's the first test.
Right.
And they get a little bit more gregarious, a little bit more confident. Maybe even, what was once a teacher who's given up is now someone who's...
His lesson, by the way, where he's talking about whether you'd vote for Roosevelt or Hitler is very clever.
It's very clever indeed. Like, there's some genuinely great stuff in it. But they get to a point where they're upping the limits to see the effects, and they're studying it and writing it down. Yeah. And the last one is just ignition, is what they call it, where you just have so much that it's just
blackout, wake up face down in your own vomit, naked in someone else's house.
Yeah, and they're drinking these cocktails, and they go to this bar, and it's like a montage from drinking. And he stands up on the bar, and you don't know what he's doing. He stands up and he just spins around and falls backwards and gets caught by everyone in the bar. Yeah. And I just think that would be the best moment. Imagine that. Yeah. Stood on a bar, falling backwards, and people you don't even know just catching you like you're some sort of rock star. Can I just give you some advice? Fucking hell, I will be
lived in Manchester
on a bar
for a little bit longer than you.
Falling backwards like that. Well, what's going to happen?
If you end up crossing the city lines from Manchester to Salford, and you decide in your drunken stupor to test that theory and recreate that scene, don't. Because the chances are you're just going to get a load of people who are going to move out of your way, watch you fall and hurt yourself, and then laugh at you.
And then kick me in.
Yeah, potentially kick you. And maybe even one or two of them might rob you. Yeah, so just to give you a little bit of a heads up.
So that's just a film world then, is it?
Yeah.
That's not real life.
I mean, it might be. You might get away with it. It depends where you're doing it. I think most people in this country in general will just be like, if you did that, be like, what's that dickhead doing?
What's he doing?
Right, what's he doing?
Yeah,
right, watch what you do, mate. Yeah. Oi. No, it's your own fault. You can stay down there. Left. I can do this. Right. Left. It's only 3 words put together. Left for red. Welcome to the academy.
Easy.
Join the academy.
Pretty easy.
Extra content on the members section, including my match day vlog. I did have the best cup final ever.
Go on then.
What do you mean go on then? Like it's kicking off. Like go on then.
No.
What are you going to do about it?
No. I mean, go on then. Tell us about it for people who don't know.
Well, they should have joined the members section. Then would have seen the full vlog. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not Carl Anker on the Athletic.
But you're also not
on the overlap where he's like, I'll tell you later. Read the article.
Or Steve after a bus stop. Yeah. But you're also not gonna play the whole video now either.
No,
so you're somewhere in between.
Yeah, because my boy Joe was like, you know what, right? I call this emotional blackmail, by the way, what you did to me.
Me? I did?
You did, right? You proper like, oh, do you know what? I just want to go to the final with my dad, and we've not been to many finals together. And do you know what?
But,
it might be our, last opportunity to go for a final together. You never know how many you're going to get to as United, and me and my dad love each other, and it's one of them. And he's not been that great lately, and I've been suffering a bit myself, and it'd just be a real pick me up. Do you know what I mean? And honestly, I think I'm not threatening, anything. I'm just saying that if I don't go to the final,
mental health at any point,
and then I'll probably just, not even watch the game. In fact, I won't even do anything. I'll probably just curl up in a ball. And
I did say the word hunger strike.
You did. You did. Yeah. And you got me because I love you, and I was like, right. Because me and you and our kid had 3 tickets together, and when I say our kid, I literally mean my brother, not David Scott. And I was like, right, I said to you, if I can get a ticket where I'm sat with someone who's a friend or someone who's, I get on with, then I'll go with them and you can have you and your dad. Because you met our kid, got on, don't you? You've met each other and he loves you and you love him. So I thought, right, let's make this happen. And then I got offered a ticket in the VIP section.
No! I know. Man of the people.
I know, it went full tour.
I know I've noticed on Twitter you've been sort of having to go at Labour a little bit. Is that because...
I am
Reform UK.
Reform UK. They're not right wing enough for me, Joe.
That's true.
Right, Reform UK, woke UK more like.
Yeah.
That's what I call them, eh? Talk about reforming, well, you're part of the problem. So yeah, we were right near the front. The players literally walked past. It was crazy. It was just like one of the most surreal experiences.
Did you touch any of the players? Because that's the true indicator of how VIP you are.
Yeah.
One is up close and personal. You can see them with, like you could see the colour of their eyes. That's one thing.
The whites of their eyes.
If you could touch them, that is another level to me.
Yeah, basically I did because...
who did you touch?
It was... Right, this sounds a bit surreal, but... I was with Steve, who's been to Carrington, right?
So when you say Steve
Bartlett, the Diary CEO, he's been to Carrington because he's the one who got me a ticket. So he knew a lot of the players. They came over to him to talk to him and say hello after the game. Not talk to him, just shake his hand. Yeah, everyone's giddy and it was all that sort of stuff. They're all pretty friendly. The one I shook hands with, bizarrely, because I didn't want to get in on it, right? And I thought a bit. Because I was just sort of enjoying the moment and I'm buzzing with beat City. I just could not get over it. I was just like, oh my God, this is so good. And they're all coming and shaking his hand. And then I was like, I didn't want to be that guy who was like trying to, shake my hand too.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Even though I'm a big red, obviously. And I was a bit like, I felt a bit funny, like it wasn't really, like they weren't here to
It's not about you, is it?
And also, I was just buzzing. I was just proper buzzing. But the one hand I didn't shake, bizarrely, was Harry Maguire. Yes. Because he went to shake his hand and he was already shaking someone else's hand. So Harry Maguire was sort of left hanging for a second.
Don't say that.
So I didn't want him to be, I didn't know if he was actually going to get his hand shake. He did in the end. But I just shook his hand whilst he was waiting.
So you were sort of a kind of the shake that sort of wakes the dog.
The shake that wakes the dog. What are you saying?
That is.
What are you on about?
That's a phrase.
The shake that wakes the dog.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
So I think it's an old.
Is it Keats?
I think it's an old Dutch piece.
Yeah. It's.
But it's the shake that wakes the dog.
You're talking double Dutch at the minute, son.
So, but you kind of were there in the middle. Yeah. You met his needs.
Do you know what I was like? You know when you go to the Oscars and someone goes to the toilet and then someone sits in their seat. Yeah. So it doesn't look empty. I was like that guy.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. So you've not seen Seinfeld where Kramer does it and then collects the award?
No.
And I think he spoke about it. Who's that guy who sings all them songs? He's from Scotland.
Oh yeah.
Lewis Capaldi. He spoke about it while he went to an awards do and he went to the toilet and someone sat in his seat so that it doesn't look empty because he don't like any empty seats. And then he said when he went to sit back in it because of the way he looks, people were like, this seat's taken. He's like, yeah, it's my seat.
So he's not a hugely sort of film star.
He doesn't look like someone who, no disrespect to the kid because he's ace, but he wouldn't, like you say, he doesn't look like your typical pop star. So yeah, I was like that guy. I was keeping the seats warm.
Yeah, that's lovely, that. Just popping on Maguire's. Could you ever have it where one of my favourite things on earth? Is when you go for the 5 like that, but like this one. Do it with me. Yeah. This one, and it makes the pop. Yeah. We didn't get it.
No.
But do you know that?
No. That was the worst. This is the word. This is like
we're not going to get it now.
How we're doing it?
No, it doesn't matter. Right. I'm making a point. So when you do it and it gives you that, real good ones, there's like high pitched pop. Yeah. And sometimes I feel like with those you can be on a roll with them. Then if you do one, like if you enter in a scene, enter in like a room and people are in there, you go, how you doing, mate? How you doing, mate? Sometimes you can get on a roll of really good 5s.
Yeah.
And I think that it can be contagious. So maybe you were prepping Maguire for a great 5.
It was weird though, right? Because Lisandro Martinez was literally right there, giddy as anything. And it was just so surreal. Yeah. And then obviously, the thing for me was the whole final was surreal, wasn't it? Because we started off, like, first 30 minutes, I thought I could see what United's game plan was. And I am going to talk about the final, and I don't care if it's the Brew. We're going to talk about football for a minute because I'm still buzzing. And you thought, okay, I get this. This could work, potentially. Mm-hmm. City were the better team in terms of the amount of the ball they had, but they weren't like...
They didn't have a shot.
It wasn't like they were going, oh my God, we're, you know... And also, I was still sort of suffering PTSD from the previous final, which I feel bad. I didn't take my son for that specific reason, because I didn't want to risk taking him to another City final and we lose again.
Is this in case he crosses the Rubicon?
Nah, I think he's fully bitter red.
Is he?
Yeah. He'll watch Haaland and say he's a tapping merchant.
Yeah.
Like he'll say De Bruyne is not a patch on Messi. Like that matters.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of thing he says, which I love and I encourage.
Just finding any reason to.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. He's really good at it. But I just thought for him, it's a bit like traumatic. Yeah. He was traumatized last year after sitting down after 12 seconds he scored. So I feel bad for him, but it is what it is. So I was like, after a minute, I was like, well, we're already doing better. I think everyone said that. And then 30 minutes, you're like, okay, I get the game plan. Then we scored.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like...
Can't be having that.
Flipping heck.
It was too much, wasn't it?
What's going on?
Something tells me where
I did the Joe as well, because I was celebrating, going mad, and then I thought, oh, was it offside? It can't be a goal. I was even thinking that after they taken the restart, like, it kicked something, I was like, it can't be happening, someone's going to ruin it.
Yeah, because it sort of reminded me, you know, the goal that we scored against him, the Rashford-Bruno one, where he was offside, but he wasn't offside at Old Trafford last season. Yeah. And it was nothing like that, but because it was like a bit of a fuck-up from them, and like all of a sudden we've got this weird things happen, I thought, surely somehow someone's offside, or did he foul him, did he push him? Or like, I couldn't tell why, but part of my brain thought, something might have happened there, but obviously it hadn't.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie to you, Joe, right? There's only 2 times in my life I've got fully emotional at football.
Okay.
One was in '99 watching the Champions League final after we'd won it.
Beautiful moment.
I was just like overcome. I mean, I was absolutely kiboshed, I'm not going to lie to you. And also, when Mainoo scored. When Mainoo scored, right?
Yeah.
It was weird. I got fully emotional. I was like... I think I could actually cry. This is amazing what we're watching.
Are you a big crier? I've never seen you cry.
I get shit off my missus because I didn't cry when the kids were born. And I tried to.
You tried to?
Well, I got shit at
What
first.
did you do? Get a small pipette of vinegar out and put it in your eyelids or something?
I just kept thinking about
onion
the
juice.
scene in Top Gun where Goose dies.
You what? I've seen it.
It's well sad. Like
what happened? So the plane flies through like a flock of geese, or one of them just goes straight through the jet engine. Is that it?
It's so sad because you know my feelings on geese.
Yeah, because Fly Away Home's your favourite film, isn't it? And you only watched Top Gun because you thought there's a chance. What they call it, a bird strike, don't they?
Yeah.
Where you smash into a load of birds.
Yeah.
And so they hit some geese.
No, the Rio, I think he's called. Don't ask me why. The Navigator,
named after the soft drink.
named after the former Manchester United defender.
Yeah.
No, like your co-pilot or your navigator, right? Is his
like R2D2 in the back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
His call sign, which is like your nickname, is Goose.
Okay.
Right, which is a bit shit, I think.
Goose.
Like Goose, because my man's called Maverick and his mate's
Maverick
called Goose.
is fantastic.
Maverick, there's some like are really cool, like Sundown, I think is one.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
What would yours be? Yours would be Maiva, wouldn't it?
Slaphead, I think is a good one. Yeah. That fits the sort of the theme of my appearance.
Yeah, mine would be String Bean.
String Bean?
Yeah. Rat Box.
Yeah.
Rat King. Sorry, I don't know why I'm saying that. Have you ever seen do you know what a Rat King is?
Rat King?
Yeah.
Is it like the sequel to Tiger King?
No, but it's similar. But
is it
on
like
a smaller scale?
Really, like the Weast version?
No, it's when rats panic, often when they're in water and they're drowning. Because rats are good swimmers, but sometimes if they're out too far, they'll struggle. Yeah. So what they'll do is, in a state of just immense panic, a whole sort of herd or whatever of rats will link their tails together, so tangled and so messed up that they can't detach from each other, and they'll just form this massive sort of dead rat cake that kind of just dies in that because they can't come apart.
Why is that preferable to drowning?
Well, because theoretically they might. I think it's a panic thing. It's like saying, "Oh, why didn't you put the brakes on?" Because too much was going on, so I just drove into the wall.
Yeah.
There's a Rat King. There you go. Look.
So they all tangle together?
They all tangle together.
There's loads of rats about, isn't there?
Yeah.
Like, I see them all. Like, if you ever go anywhere late at night in Manchester or Salford or wherever, where I live, you'll see them, like, scurrying about. Like, and I always think, Jesus, how many actual rats are there?
Yeah.
I remember when I was in London, they said you're never more than, like, 5 feet away from a rat or something. You see them all in the underground, don't you?
Well, it's like
scurrying.
Geological features. You've got the White Cliffs of Dover and you've got the Rat Cliffs of Old Trafford up top. Jim Ratcliffe.
Yeah, get it. You don't have to explain. Do you know what? I read somewhere as well, you can clarify this because you're the oracle.
I don't know.
That actually, rats get a bit of a bad rep because they weren't responsible for the plague. It was actually lice. It was dirty humans, not dirty rats.
Well, maybe it was a misspelling of mice. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, it's mice, but actually it's lice. Because
Right,
L and M aren't far from the
Is the
keyboard.
Pied Piper a true story?
It's based on a... not really, no. Obviously, the mountain didn't open up, but I think that there's a theory that someone like that did exist, yeah.
Well, do you mean obviously the mountain didn't open up? Why not? It's the olden days.
That's true.
Anything was possible.
When there was dragons and sort of mithril and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, maybe the mountain did open.
Maybe it is a myth, but I'll tell you what isn't a myth.
Go on.
And that is Manscaped's new Ultra 5.0, because our mates over at Manscaped have led the way in below the waist grooming yet again. They don't just dare to dream. They deliver, yes, and also they deliver with free shipping and 20% off when you use the code Housen on this podcast. However, before we get into all that, let me tell you about the Ultra 5.0, because you have got the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, and it has got count them, 2 interchangeable next generation skin safe blades. Yes. It is ridiculous how good this is. They have taken that leap forward, because I thought the 4.0 was the zenith. Yeah, that's like the top in it, the zenith. Yeah, pinnacle. Yeah, like that's it. You ain't getting better than that, which is fine because it's mint. No, even better.
Yeah, Manscaped has completely revolutionised how I see grooming, because before this, I'd use a combination of sort of sulfuric acid. And maybe a little magnesium. Milk of magnesia. Manganese. Etc. And I'd sort of burn the whole area. Just scorched earth policy. Like, I don't even know. Some kind of ancient king who's salting the land so that no crops can grow anymore. That's what But then the problem is, you're in a kind of will from in between a situation where you don't want nothing down there.
No.
So I had to use a Rat King that I bought on eBay, dried, fossilised Rat King, and use that as a merkin. And that has its own... it's a genital wig. Which that has obviously its own horrendous problems as well. So with Manscaped, you've got ultimate control. You've got adjustable blades. You've got the foil blade, which is ultra close for certain areas. Then you've got the clipper as well, which goes from long to short, so you can taper, you can shape. Do you know what you can do? Do you know how women or men, whatever, will wear makeup and they'll contour, so you can exaggerate the shape of the jaw, the jawline, the nose. If you can do sort of an inverse version of that downstairs, you can use shadows and angles to make things look as large or as small as you want, Jay.
It's fantastic.
No one else is doing that.
That is absolutely unreal.
I do it as a sort of perspective trick. So like, from a distance, it looks about 6 foot long, which you can only do with Manscaped. And it's not just the trimmer. It's not just that. You also get the Crop Soother toner. You also get the Crop Preserver ball deodorant, the ear and nose hair trimmer.
Can I just say as well, right, the Weed Whacker. You and Stephen Housen love the Weed Whacker.
I use it all the time.
Yeah, but you keep leaving your Weed Whackers on my desk. Which is not okay. Right? Yeah? You need to use your Weed Whacker. Fine. We all do it. We don't just leave it lying around willy-nilly.
Okay, I'll keep it away from my willy and my nilly.
Thank you.
But you also get 2 free gifts as well with the Performance Package 5.0 package. You get the Boxers 2.0 and the Shed 2.0 travel bag to keep it all in, to take it from hither to thither.
Hither to thither.
Trust me, Manscaped genuinely are brilliant. I use them all the time. It's the only thing that I trust on my crown jewels. And with our code Housen's Brew, Housen, you get 20% off and free shipping as well.
Whoa, sweet child of mine. It's not Housen's Brew. It's the Brew.
Sponsored by Manscaped.
The only reason the code is Housen, because simply, when you think of your balls, you think of Housen. That's it. It's not Housen's Brew. I'm on it more than he is. So just watch your mouth in future. Anyway. Big thank you to our friends over at Manscaped. The code is Housen. The link is in the description. 20% off and free shipping. Your balls will thank you.
I've got something I want to do, Jay.
We spoke about this earlier, Joe.
We did.
I'm not that kind of guy.
Oh, sorry. Right. Tomorrow's the Champions League finale.
No one cares about the Champions League, bro. It's all about the FA Cup.
That's true. But if they did, I've got a little game I want to play. Right. I want us to rank, and I want people to do it in the comments as well.
Before we get into this game then, because I'm conscious of the fact that there's loads of comments and I've ignored them.
Get into the comments first.
Yeah, because I'm being really rude. So I'm going to get into some of these comments, right? Phil789 has joined the academy. Fantastic. Akash K is gifted 5 membership. Akash is always gifted membership.
Thank you,
He's a
Akash.
legend.
That's absolutely unbelievable.
Left for Red, I've done you. Happy. Great to see you, lads. The Ineos takeover is like having a sugar daddy who promises you the world and he ends up broke with erectile dysfunction. And we've all been there.
When you say broke, as in like he snapped it.
What? His penis? I don't know. Possibly. Potentially. Potentially such a good word, isn't it? Bill O'Reilly says, ooh, friend, Diary of a CEO friend. Yeah, I asked for that. Fair enough. Yeah. United Joshie said, what?
You're a twat, mate.
Yeah, I am, Matt. Do you know what I mean? I'll just help you out and just get shit for doing it.
You got shit. You got free meals and meetings.
I didn't know that when I was trying to get hold of a ticket, did I? Ultimate celebrity crush, please, lads. Up the fucking Reds. United Joshie.
Dead or alive?
My celebrity...
Yours is
that's
dead.
a bit weird.
Yours is dead.
What?
Yours is a person who's currently alive. But
oh, yes, I'm just taking up negrophilia. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I like corpses, mate. Who am I? Bloody Ed Gein. I would say... What are you looking at?
Who's Ed Gein and that?
The film Psycho was based on him.
I watched Psycho for the first time 3 days ago.
Really?
Yeah,
that's
genuinely
crazy.
It is actually.
Literally.
It's based around the former Leeds chairman Ken Bates, isn't it? And the hotel that he used to have.
Yeah, it is. That's it. The Bates Motel, and it didn't quite work out, so he went into property development elsewhere. No, my celebrity crush was always Jessica Ennis. When I was a reporter, and I got to meet her a couple of times.
All right.
What's wrong with that?
Feels a bit weird. It's someone who's sort of exactly your age. I don't know why that makes me feel weird.
Well,
shouldn't it be someone that you still grew up fancying rather than someone who's like in Sheffield?
Oh, when I was a youngster, or younger, there used to be that thing called, was it Party of Five? And there was a girl in it called Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Jennifer Love Hewitt, yeah, she's knocking about.
Yeah, so that was a crush.
But Jess Ennis is the one for you.
Was the one when as I got older, and then when I was I couldn't say a kid, I was about 18 or 19 or something. Jennifer Love Hewitt, and I can't remember when I was a kid who my celebrity crush was. Who was yours?
One of the first ones, there was two. One was weirdly both blonde, even though that's not necessarily.
Right, okay.
Although Lizzie's blonde.
Yeah.
One was
weirdly both blonde, the same as my girlfriend. Yeah, really weird.
One was Melinda Messenger from Fort Boyard.
I was a Page 3 girls. Yeah, that's
I didn't know that at the time. I was 8 years old, and she was on telly. She was on Channel 5 on a Friday night.
You were
somewhere sandwiched between WCW.
Going into your local newsagent, turning that first page in the corner and just knocking one off in the middle of the newsagent. You dirty little pervert.
No, I can't. I had a very good relationship with the Happy Shopper owner. And
Happy Shoppers, are they still a thing?
I don't know, it was then.
Our Happy Shopper was mint, because he used to serve you cigs when you were about 12.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And the lovely corned beef cob. Melinda Messenger from Fort Boyard.
If you want to pretend that's where you fancied her from, we'll go with that.
And also, one of my favourite films growing up was The Mask. Cameron Diaz in The Mask.
I mean, yeah. Cameron Diaz, yeah. I was going to say that as well.
Cameron Diaz in The Mask was one of my favourite.
That entrance by Cameron Diaz in The Mask is iconic.
Yeah, it's iconic.
Like that, yeah, that's a good shout. Peter Kelly says, my cup final was class. 2:30 a.m. rise, picked up for 3:15 for a 6 a.m. flight, went to Kilburn for 11. Kilburn is mint, by the way. Wembley for about 2, got home 1 Sunday morning. Brilliant. Niels Vermeulen says, a shout out to the Scottish Denzel Dumfries. Cracked me up yesterday. Loved the content. Cheers from Netherlands. Send all the way.
Nice one, Denzel, man.
I said that I thought Denzel Dumfries was sounded like the coolest Scottish guy ever.
Yeah. Flares on.
Yeah, love all that. Adam M, welcome to the academy. Stephen Harris says, listening while servicing boilers on Kilton Road. All hail Joseph, King of Workshop. Yeah.
Good lad. I also need a boiler service, but I booked someone in. I mean, he won't come from all the way
Is that a euphemism, or is actually I'm servicing boilers, if you know what I mean?
What would that even mean?
Well, I've heard that Kilton Road is where it's like the red light district of Workshop.
Okay.
So when he says servicing boilers,
who knows?
He knows. Is he seeing ladies of the night?
Do you know what I mean? No, Kilton Road. I don't think there isn't a red light.
Shut up.
Nah.
Is there not?
No, not really. It's not like that, is it?
The red light districts in Eccles is shut down.
Has it?
Well, it was one brothel and it closed.
Why did it close? Is it because you pulled your direct debit? You had them on retainer, didn't you, for a while?
I was laughing. I owed them loads of money when they closed. I was absolutely buzzing. That's 300 quid I saved myself. Serves them right for giving it me on tape. No, it was called Silver Ladies.
Was it?
And you can start off with the sign.
Did they specialise in sort of elderly women?
It's like the Golden Girls.
Yeah, Silver Ladies, isn't that like a hairdresser?
It was a cross between brothel and bingo. They did both. They did a combo.
But only number 69 comes out.
Oh,
that's all that comes out every time.
Which is bizarrely their age.
Yeah,
no, it was famous in Eccles, and now like it's shut years ago. But the side at the
is it true as well?
A bit of nostalgia.
I heard a rumour that, do you know, like when they shut the old Wembley, they used to sell like patches of turf.
Yeah.
You bought a few squares of carpet from Silver Ladies, didn't you? You bought them as a sort of scratch and sniff for your house.
It was like the budget version of Sandy Superstars. Is it Sandy Superstars, the famous one? The infamous one from Bury, where is it? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you know, you know what I'm on about.
Yeah. If you're in that world. Yeah. Bloody hell. Right. I've got something I want to do with you. Top 5 Champions League.
Yeah, we've done half an hour.
teams.
We've actually spoke about football, but you know what? We'll just talk about anything. Go on.
Yeah. So in the comments, get your thoughts in as well. But this is going to be top 5 Champions League teams of all time. So teams who we don't have to have won it, but presumably they're going to have won it.
Right. I think all that brothel talk.
I know.
Crashed the internet.
It's only right.
Yeah.
But Jay, next up,
Yeah.
I want to talk top 5 Champions League teams of all time.
Right.
I've got my list. You've got your list. Get your list in at home as well.
Okay. You're quite giddy for this, man. You've been giddy for this about 6 hours.
I like stuff like this.
Yeah.
I
know
like.
it's like the little glint in your eye. You're like, oh, Champions League.
Yeah,
top
and we can
5,
debate.
yeah.
We can go back and forth because it's Champions League final tomorrow. Real Madrid going for a 15th title, which is astonishing.
Do you know what I've realised?
What?
I don't hate on Sancho. Like, it's not like I don't want Sancho to win the Champions League. There's a part of me that doesn't want Real Madrid to lose because Fergie's the last guy to beat him in a final.
Yeah.
And I just like that to carry on until they ever face United in a final.
Yeah.
Like, unless they're playing United in a final, I want Real Madrid to win.
And for those who don't know, it wasn't at United.
It was at 1983
Yeah.
Cup Winners' Cup, which everyone who knows anything about football knows that the Cup Winners' Cup is the pinnacle of football. There is no trophy as good or better than it.
For people who don't, for people who don't know what the Cup Winners' Cup is, I know it sort of seems self-explanatory, but it's not the European Cup Winners' Cup, is it? It's for all the people who won their domestic cups.
Yeah. So back in the day, before the Champions League became the European behemoth that it is.
Back when it was the European Cup.
Yeah. So if you won your league, you went into the European Cup. If you won the European Cup and didn't win your league, you went into the European Cup. If you came second in your league, you went into the UEFA Cup. If you won the FA Cup in your league, in your country, or the main cup in your country, you went to the Cup Winners' Cup. Yeah. So in 1991 we won the Cup Winners' Cup because we won the FA Cup in 1990. Then what happened was in 1993 or whatever it was, the Champions League came into effect. At first, again, the Champions League, don't forget, was only league winners. At first, it was only Leeds who were in it that first year, and then United the second time. And then in 98, 99, it became teams that finished second, and now it's teams that finish, you can finish
5th,
10th, and end up in the Champions League in some countries.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you want to do your top 5. Now, for starters, we were chatting about this Champions League teams, and we decided to keep it that Champions League teams.
Yeah.
Because there was a couple of teams when I was a kid that I knew were amazing, like the Milan team, the Red Star Belgrade team, but I don't barely remember them properly, and I'd have to sort of Google it.
I'm not
pretend.
researching the 1950s Champions League team that won it 5 years in a row or whatever.
Yeah.
Real Madrid team, sorry. I don't, these are teams that we've seen, aren't they? So post Champions League onwards, which I think is 93 onwards. Do you want to go first?
Right, so I'm doing the 5th one, yeah?
Yeah.
5th. Is he doing it in reverse order?
Yeah, do it in reverse order.
So I've gone with, and I'm going to have to sort of Google this just to remind myself, the 2015 Barcelona team.
The Messi, Suarez, Neymar team.
I think that is exactly it. Because I was looking, and Barcelona have had some mint teams during that period. Obviously, we know it. And I was in two minds whether to go with Real Madrid 2014, because I'm you know me, I'm a basic guy.
La Decima.
Yeah, and that front three of, I think it was Benzema, Bale, and Ronaldo was elite. But I actually think the front three of Suarez, Messi, and Neymar is probably just edges it. Even though I hate Luis Suarez with a passion, I absolutely despise the man as a footballer. Other than, you know, take away the racism and just look at the footballing ability, was unreal.
Unbelievable. I've said this before. It pains me to say it. I think he's the best striker of his generation.
I think you might have a case there.
Like, take Ronaldo and Messi out of it because they're just another thing. I think Suarez is the best one after that.
His stats, his achievements, all sort of point towards that as well. It's just very difficult for me because anyone who knows me and watches this channel will know I can't separate the emotion from the footballing and then the thinking. I am that guy. So it's very difficult, but I've got to be a little bit objective here. And you look at the front three of Messi, Neymar, and Suarez.
It is unreal.
Yeah, and also like just the entire team, like little things. Like you got Jordi Alba, Dani Alves as your fullbacks.
Yeah.
Mascherano was in centre back for the final. PK, Busquets, Rakitic, and Iniesta in your midfield, and then. You know, you look at the bench as well. Xavi on the bench. Yeah. I mean, just a mint team.
It's a good team, and that front three is exceptional.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil mine too much. That team isn't in mine, and the reason it's not mine, even though it won a treble, even though it's an unbelievable team and those front three are incredible, I feel like I don't know that Juventus side. I know they were good and they were good.
Yeah.
But playing them in the final just knocked it a little bit for me. Like, they had Evra playing at left back who was sort of 4 or 5 years past his United best. They had certain players like Morata in there. They had sort of Tevez past his best, Vidal past his best. I just think that it was... Vidal maybe wasn't past his best, but I think Tevez was. They had a lot of players in there where you're never going to beat this Barca team.
Something else though for Juve. Pogba, Pirlo, and Marquisio.
But incredible. Yeah, that's a fantastic midfield, and Vidal as well.
Vidal, sorry, yeah.
But I just think
as well,
around that, they had players past their best, whereas Barca, you look at that team, other than maybe, I don't even know, Iniesta was getting toward the end then, that's like an unreal team, and I knew they were going to win that final. They didn't feel like there was too much drama.
I feel like that. I get your point, but I feel like almost every single Champions League final has an element of that.
Yeah.
You have an element of the underdog or the team that has a few players that are past their best, who have sort of last danced this season, who've just like rolled back the years and have absolutely smasheroonied it, sometimes just in the Champions League.
They're still one of the best. They're just, not top five.
I get your point. It's a good point.
Who you got at 4?
Number 4 is the 09 Barcelona team. Now, people will say, why not 11? Because it was a toss-up between 11 and 09. Okay. I feel like in 11, I feel like the Barcelona team was obviously amazing. Yeah. I don't think the United team in 11 on paper was as good as 09.
That's a good point.
And I know both teams, we basically got our arses handed to us. I think actually in 11 we probably made a bit more of a fight of it because we got the goal, and you know it was eventually they kicked on again and we weren't able to match them. But I just feel that 11 you had a front three of Pedro, Messi, and David Villa. Midfield of Iniesta, Xavi, Busquets, Abidal, PK, Mascherano, and Alves is your back four. Yeah. So and Victor Valdez is your keeper. Very, very good. Yeah. I just feel like Pedro, he's a good player. He's not, for me, like, amazing. There's one or two others where I go, they're very good players rather than amazing. I look at that 09 team, and Jesus wept. And they had players missing as well, and it's ridiculous. Your front three, right, is 3 of the best footballers in the history of association football. Yeah, go on. Like, it is. Yeah. Right? It's Thierry Henry,
decent,
who, behind Eric Cantona, is the best French footballer ever. Samuel Eto'o, who might just be the best footballer from an entire continent ever.
Yeah, probably is.
Yeah. And Messi, who is arguably the greatest footballer ever,
from
full stop.
Planet.
Yeah, for a planet. Right, that front three is like ridiculous.
Yeah.
You could actually argue, right? I'm not saying it, but you could argue that you've got Europe's best ever striker, Africa's greatest ever striker, and the world's greatest ever player in that front three. You could argue that.
You know what? That's a very good argument. We'll get to Man in a minute.
It's just, and I love it, and I've done it, yeah? I can be the most biased United fan you will ever see. I have argued with my chest out that if Darren Fletcher doesn't get suspended for that game, we win it.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that, let's be honest, Probably not. Also, the midfield, Xavi, Busquets and Iniesta, all in their prime as well. Not past it at all in 09. Great age. And actually, the back four is good, as you'd expect, but it's got people out of position. It's got Yaya Toure at centre-back. You've got Puyol at right-back. You've got Silvinho and Piqué. Yeah. So the back four is very, very good. It's probably got, Yaya Toure is one of the best midfielders ever, but he's playing in defence. But it's that front six.
Yeah, incredible.
It's just
man for man.
Stupid.
On paper, I agree. I will get to man afterwards, but it's a sensational team. Who's number 3?
This one is the Galacticos team for Real Madrid, the O2 team.
Oh, really?
Because do you know what it is, right, with this team? I've got to give props to certain teams, right? One thing that impresses me with teams is when
you've got these at 3.
I have, right?
Blimey.
Because I just feel like with the Galacticos and this sort of era, everyone hated them, really. Everyone looks at this as an example of what you don't do. And this isn't quite fully. I know there was still more Galactico to come after this, so this probably wasn't even fair to call it the Galacticos because I think Beckham came in after this, didn't he? And that was when
it's still Galactico.
Yeah. But this is a team where you go in they assembled this ridiculous team.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, oh, they sort of flattered to deceive. They never quite achieved the heights they did. This season they did. They absolutely smashed it in the Champions League. Mm-hmm. Zidane scoring that goal against Bayer Leverkusen, who you kind of have to feel sorry for the way their season unravelled.
Yeah, that knocks it down a notch for me. Yeah. Bayer Leverkusen had just lost the league in the last game of the season, just lost the German Cup. I think this was after those 2 games, certainly after the league. Yeah. And then we're playing Real Madrid in the final. It's another one I think, obviously Leverkusen had an amazing season, but Real Madrid were always going to win that final, which knocks them down. They're, again, fantastic team, great team, but for me, not quite.
I just feel like when you step up, when everyone's sort of doubting you or expecting you, it's a weird mixture of doubting you yet expecting you to step up.
Yeah.
Like, when are these guys going to do this? This team should do it, and you do it.
Yeah.
I always respect that. And I think, Raul, Morientes, Zidane, front three there, just ridiculous, obviously. Figo, and for me, one of the greats, Claude Makelele.
Yeah, unreal.
Can I tell you something?
No.
And I bet you don't remember this. I bet you don't know this. I remember it. He played in the 08 final.
Do you know the only reason I remember that is because you told me that a couple of weeks ago.
No one believes that.
No.
People go, no, he didn't.
Claude Makelele started for Chelsea in that 08 final.
People go,
in my head,
no, he didn't.
He was not still there then.
Yeah.
I don't even know where he was. He left about 2 years before that in my head.
But he did start the 08 final. It's
weirdly.
It's mad because you just kind of erase that from you. I've erased that from my memory of that game.
Yeah.
And, I remember that game, and that's one of the few finals I watch over and over again because it's just amazing and some of the football was on display. But yeah, he was in the Makelele role, obviously, for that game.
That's crazy.
Because don't forget, people, it's easy to think, well, Essim's there. No, Essim's right back.
Yeah.
It was Makelele who was in that midfield.
Number 2.
The second greatest Champions League team ever is the 99 team.
Oh, you're joking!
Right. And
2!
Yeah.
Right. This is getting ridiculous now.
The reason I've gone with this, right, because the reason it's not number 1 is because I think the actual 08 team is better. Because you've got to remember, in the 99 final as well, right, we were missing the 2 best players in the team.
But it's not just the final day. It's about the season and the road there.
Yeah, the road there as well, right? So that team was amazing. But also, the final itself was one of the worst games of football you'll ever witness.
Correct.
United didn't get going until the last 10 minutes.
Correct.
Fergie tried something different. You might argue it worked perfectly and that was all part of the master plan. You might argue we got it wrong and then fixed it in time to get the result. Whatever you want to say, it doesn't matter, we won. That, in terms of drama, in terms of excitement, in terms of the way we won it, will never be matched. Yeah. You look at that semi-final against Juve at the Stade d'Alpe, to turn it around from being 2-0 down, having drawn at home as well. And even at home, we took a late Giggs equaliser. I was there for that goal, behind the goal, going berserk, to get a draw. So I think in terms of drama, it was just phenomenal. In terms of the actual team itself, you've got some of the best players ever, and also some of the most underrated players ever. Andy Cole is probably the most underrated striker I think ever played football.
Yep,
I do. Only now is he slightly getting his flowers because everyone's sort of reminding everyone how good he was. You've also got Jaap Stam, again, what for me, one of the greatest defenders of all time, the best defender I've ever seen.
Yep.
Like, genuinely. Ronnie Johnson, underrated, again, another underrated player. Beckham, bizarrely, underrated. This Champions League campaign, he was unreal.
Yeah.
He was unreal. And I'm sorry,
Yeah, he was.
I love Sir Alex Ferguson. He is the GOAT. In more Buzzbeard, depending on your point of view. But it was kind of bonkers in 2003 that he dropped him. It was. He just, there's no excuse. It was nonsense. Dennis Irwin, again, one of the best left-backs ever.
Yeah.
You've just got so many players who are ridiculous. And even Ryan Giggs, again, people just assume Ryan Giggs just turned up for United for 20 years and got given titles.
Yeah.
No.
He played 900 games for us because he was shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He played him because he was mint.
Yeah, of course.
So, and if you watch, it's mad because you watch replays of goals, how many of them throughout that entire time is Giggs involved in? All of them. So, I just think as a team, ridiculous. Also, players who stepped up, Nicky Butt coming in, stepping up. Jefferson Blomqvist gave himself a bit of stick, but did a job for the final, and obviously leading up to the final. That group of death, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, United, and poor old whipping boys Brøndby in that group. People thought we weren't going to get through. We did, and then we went on to win it. You played a great Bayern Munich team 3 times in that competition, and we didn't lose any of them. Just ridiculous.
What's your number one?
Number one is, for me, the greatest team the world has ever seen. It's the 2008 team, obviously, because I just think
it's a great team.
It had everything, and also that team that season, like, lived up to their ability.
Yeah,
like Scholes was rolling back the years. That goal, obviously, in the semi. Michael Carrick was fantastic. Owen Hargreaves, people hate on Owen Hargreaves. That season, Owen Hargreaves was ridiculous. It's one of the best seasons I've seen a midfielder have.
Yeah,
genuinely. He played right back, he played on the wing, he played in as a defensive midfielder, played as an 8, scored goals in important times, marked people out of the game in important times. Just phenomenal. Wes Brown had one of the all-time seasons of all time. I think he played about 60 games, 58 games, something stupid like that. Obviously set up the goal in the final with his left foot as well. Evra, Vidic, Rio were just 10 out of 10 performances constantly. And then you've got that front three of Ronaldo, Tevez and Rooney. Just so good. So good. And again, I don't want people to feel like I'm hating on Fergie, but I will never understand dropping Tevez for the 2009 final either. Yeah. I think that was just insane.
It's a good list. You know what? It's a good list.
Like, again, you know what I said earlier about, like, you can look at that Barcelona team, you say you got potentially the best player France or striker Europe's ever produced, and Africa and the world. I think here you've got a front three that's sort of, you know, got arguments to be made of being amongst the best ever. Like Rooney is arguably England's greatest ever player. I know today he was saying on the overlap, he's been saying that Harry Kane is it. Well, that's a load of rubbish. I'd say it's Bobby Charlton, but Rooney's in with a shout.
Yeah.
Ronaldo, arguably the best player ever. Scholes, arguably the best midfielder the Premier League's ever seen. I know this is the Champions League, but he's in with a shout. Rio Ferdinand, for me, is a contender for the best centre-back of all time. He is. I know people love Vidic more, but I think Rio was better.
Yeah, he was better.
Like, it's just a team full of...
It's an unreal team. And it's right up there, but for me, it's not number one.
Go on, man.
It's my team. Number 5, the Bayern Munich 2012-13 team. They won a treble. Yeah. They beat Juventus 4-0 on aggregate in the quarterfinal. Beat Barca 7-0 on aggregate in the semi-final, which is astonishing. Yeah. They had like Ribéry, Robben, they had Schweinsteiger, that back four as well. Lahm, Boateng, Dante, Alaba, Neuer in goal. Just an unreal side. Like I said, won a treble as well domestically. Yeah. Just a phenomenal team. There's a couple of weaknesses in terms of exact personnel, but the way they played, how they played, was just absolutely
That is a good shout, to be honest.
It's an unreal side. They had Mario Gomez, well, I think Muller was knocking about in there as well. Thomas Muller just putting up crazy numbers, I think, in that era. He was just fantastic. And that team just felt so impossible to beat. When they beat Barca 7-0 on aggregate, a Barca that had been in like 4 Champions League or 3 Champions League finals in the last 4 years or something like that. That was just unreal. Number 3, I think Real Madrid's 17-18 team, the one that won 3 in a row. And you always have to separate Madrid's league form from their Champions League form, because I think they didn't win the league that year.
Yeah.
But that against Liverpool as well, who were storming it under a new manager. They've got this new signing, Salah, who's got 40 goals for him, like the best Liverpool we've seen in 30 years. And Real Madrid just handled them. Like,
is that not right?
Unbelievable?
I hear you.
Go on.
But is there not an element of Loris Karius gave that game away?
Well, but there is a little bit.
And also, and I love Shithousery more than anything.
But Gareth Bale's overhead kick wasn't Karius' fault.
No, it wasn't.
That was unbelievable.
He gave them he gave them a route back into the game, basically, didn't he? By booting the ball against Bale, was it?
But then in that regard,
Benzema,
you could say, did United not win it in 08 because Terry slipped?
Fair enough. I get that. And also, like, the whole Ramos Salah thing, it felt like.
But
I loved it. I'm glad he did it.
Ramos, who again with Rio Ferdinand has an argument for being the greatest centre back of all time.
Yeah, he's in that conversation.
Team, I think you have to talk about that one. This is also the 3rd Champions League in a row after no one had ever even won 2 in a row, and this team won 3 in a row. Like,
Joe, I celebrated this, right? Probably more than I celebrated '99.
Yeah,
I honestly. This was one of the best nights of my life.
It was fantastic. And also, as a United fan, what a night.
Because I was at Disneyland in Euro Disney with the kids.
Yeah.
And my dad was there and the family. And we said, we're not going to, because it was the Champions League final, it's the last night in Euro Disney. We're going to watch the fireworks in front of the big Princess Castle. We'll turn our phones off so we don't know the Liverpool score, so we're not spoiling the night by sulking. Because like Mrs. and that was like, you're not ruining the night.
Because it felt destined for Liverpool to win.
If you're sulking all night and our last day in here, it's gonna put a downer on it. And I thought that's fair enough, because I would have been sulking. I would have been fuming. So we turned our phones off. Load of Scousers near was celebrating. Me and Dad both fuming. Then I heard one of them saying, I fucking love Gareth Bale. Why do you love Gareth Bale? Because we're Evertonians.
Everton fans. Thank God.
Phones
Everton
on.
fans,
Liverpool have lost. The fireworks start in front of the castle. The best.
That's an incredible moment of your life. That
brilliant.
So that's why that team for me is number 4. Also worth mentioning that run. By the way, they played PSG in the round of 16, Juve in the quarterfinals, Bayern Munich in the semi-finals, and Liverpool in the final. That is a fucking unreal gauntlet that Real Madrid team got through. Yep. Number 3, Manchester United 07-08.
Yep.
I think, what can we say that hasn't already been said? Phenomenal team, absolutely incredible. I think the only thing that lets it down a little bit is the teams we faced along the way to the final weren't, like, Arsenal obviously was good, but we were a much better team than Arsenal. It wasn't like we played...
What do you mean in 08?
07-08?
Yeah, but what about Barca in the semis?
Great. I'm not, but I put them 3rd ever. Do you know what I mean? Okay. I put them 3rd ever.
No, I just think that Barca, because that Barca team, let's not forget, people sort of dismiss that team as like, oh, well, Pep hadn't got his hands on it. It won the Champions League 2 years earlier.
2 years, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like they were rubbish. Like, they were in the semis for a reason. They were mint, and Messi was mint. I was watching him. Yeah. Just Wes Brown and Owen Hargreaves and everyone did a number on him.
It was incredible, but for me, the 3rd. Okay. Which is still
no. Listen, I'm not. You're calling them the 3rd greatest team of the Champions League history, so I'm not going to be too harsh on you.
Number 2, and the reason they're ahead of United is because a good chunk of the team from 08 played against this team and lost. It's the 2011 Barcelona team.
Okay, you've gone the other way. I zigged, you zagged.
Yeah, I think man for man, yours is better in terms of Henry, Eto'o, Messi up front. But I think the 2011 team worked better as a team. I think Pep had more time to put his stamp on it. I think you look at Alves, Abidal. Again, you've still got Busquets, Xavi, Iniesta, but it's Messi, Pedro, and David Villa. I think that was a better team unit than the 09 one for me. I just think it was United looked just completely a million miles off him, unfortunately. I just think that to me was the pinnacle of what Barcelona became in that period when Spain were winning everything, Barca winning everything. And number 1, 1999. I think a team from the top 5 leagues had never won a treble before.
Yeah.
Like, to do that in the Champions League era as well is unprecedented. No one had ever done that. And like you said, the teams that we faced, Bayern and Barca both in the group stages. Then it was, Inter Milan, then Juve. Which way around it was, I can't remember. Then we played,
Inter, then Juve.
Yeah, Inter Milan in the quarters, Juve in the semi-finals, who had both been to finals. Italy was dominating European football, and we beat them both. Then to beat Bayern again in the final is just unbelievable. And to win the treble, something that just felt impossible. And the fact that all those games were so close is a testament to how good the opposition was that year, and we beat all of them to win a treble. For me, that's the best Champions League team of all time. I think just the guts that they had, the fact that they did it without Scholes and Keane. I know that the performance in the final was shit, but if those two had been playing, things could have been very different. I just think no one can, to me, can be more impressive than what that team did and how they did it. Just unreal.
I agree. Also, sorry, I've just seen your note there. Can we subscribe, please? If you're not doing already, can you subscribe to the channel? We want to get to 750,000 subscribers.
Close.
There's a pinned link in the chat. We're almost there.
Come on. We
just want to get to cheeky. Yeah, I have to agree with everything you've said.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know what the annoying thing for me is as a United fan? In my lifetime, we have only ever won the Champions League when we've been the best team in Europe.
Yeah.
When we've literally been the best team in Europe, we've won the Champions League. In '99, we were the best team in Europe.
Yeah,
we deserved it. We had the best players. We had the best manager. We had the best team, best squad. We deserved it. We won it. 08, ditto. Ronaldo having a season of all seasons. Rooney, Tevez, Carrick, Scholes, Vidic and Rio. We were the best team. We were better than Barcelona. We were better than Chelsea. We were the best team on the planet, and we won it. We've never won it when we haven't been. And it annoys me because Chelsea have won it twice when they haven't been the best team in Europe. The Scousers have won it twice in my lifetime when they ain't been the best team in Europe. They've won it.
Real Madrid have done it.
Real Madrid have done it.
Times, yeah.
These teams have done it and finished like 4th, 5th and 6th in their leagues.
Yeah.
Yet United have only ever done it when we've been the best team in Europe. And that's not a criticism to Alex Ferguson, by the way, because I honestly believe Manchester City have been the best team in Europe 6 out of the last 7 seasons, and they've won it once.
Yeah.
Like, they've stacked it at times in Europe. They have when they should have won. Like, Lyon shouldn't have beat them.
No. Monaco.
Who's the other one? Spurs. Chelsea.
Yeah.
Liverpool. Like, they've been knocked out of the Champions League when they shouldn't have been by teams they're better than. When we've won it, we've only ever won it when we're the best team. We've never had that season where we haven't quite been the best team, but we've had a little bit of the rub of the green, and we've turned up in the final when they haven't, or whatever. Like you saw it in 05, Liverpool was a good example, finishing 5th in a league that weren't even that great that year, if you remember. No. Everton finished 4th.
Yeah, which is why those two United teams, the 08 and the 99 ones, are both so high in those all-time lists, because they were both the best team in Europe winning the Champions League. Yeah. Whereas Liverpool, that Chelsea team from 2012, that's not in the top 25 fucking Champions League winning squads. It's one of the worst.
Sometimes
they've got it anyway.
It's weird, isn't it? Because I had a bet that they'd win on penalties that game, and that's one of the few times I've done it.
Yeah.
And I just thought I could see Chelsea just
sneaking
fluking this, like getting away with it. And if they're going to do it, it'll be on penalties, because it was at the
Allianz.
It was at the Munich. Was it the Munich? Was it the Allianz, or was it the old Munich stadium? I can't remember. I think it might have been the old one.
Certainly Bayern.
Yeah, it was Bayern. Sorry,
home advantage.
No, it was Bayern Stadium.
Yeah.
I can't remember if they moved to the Allianz Arena by that time or if it was the old one. But it was their stadium, it was their home stadium.
Yeah.
I know obviously it's not technically the same because they didn't have 80% of the ground like they normally would have, or 90%. It's half and half, but it's still your home ground.
Come on.
Do you know what I mean?
Huge
and also, you still, an iron Robin penalty away from winning it.
Yeah.
And also, Drogba had to get him out of jail a little bit as well. But Chelsea did it. They got over the line, did what they had to do. It's just annoying, isn't it? Because they won it in 2012, and that's 4 years after we last won it.
Yeah.
And then they've won it since, which annoys me a little bit. I just get annoyed off things that shouldn't really, but you know how it is. Harvey Gilcariff says, where was Off the Bar last night? That's going to be out tomorrow. We've mixed it up a little bit. So Off the Bar is going to be out tomorrow. One thing I will say before we wrap up, I think we've covered the thumbnail very well.
Yes.
United's transfer strategy.
Yeah.
We've absolutely covered that, as we often do.
Jay?
United's transfer strategy.
Yeah, basically what we're doing now is a new strategy, isn't it?
It's different or not. So there you have it. Thank you to everyone who got involved in the comments and the chat.
And thank you as well to producer Ollie, who will be in the building again, but it's his last official day. Come here, Ollie. Come here. So it's Ollie's last day today. He is leaving. We have got a job listing up for anyone who's interested. It's on LinkedIn.
Wow.
Yeah, his job.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, it is already out. He quit. We had
the Queen is dead. Long live the King. You didn't waste much time there. This is
Ollie for anyone who's never seen him before. Thank you for all the great work you've done.
Hello.
Thank you for all the great work you've done. We'll miss you immensely.
He's coming back though, isn't it? So it's not. It's as Richard Nixon said. It's not goodbye. It's just au revoir.
Yeah. Lovely.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
So we will see you. Well done. And I've not posted my little Instagram story from this morning of me and you, which I'm going to because you had me in absolute stitches. Banbury's finest is our Ollie. So yeah, he's worked really hard
for what he's done.
Smashed it. Put in a lot of graft, and we're going to miss him because he's been an absolute superstar on this channel. Right, I think we're going to leave it there.
Lovely. Happy Friday.
Thank you. Apologies for all the football talk on the Brew.
It's good.
Next week, normal service will be resumed. I think we've got Jim from the Slow Readers Club coming in.
And Mr. Howson, of course.
Mr. Howson will be back.
Thanks for having me.
I regret criticising you at the beginning of because you stepped up.
Thanks.
Do you know what I mean? It's like you've done this before. I'm proud of you.
I try.
Thank you. Thanks. Loads of people, by the way. Ollie saying, cheers, Ollie. Good luck. Thank you. Nomad Joe says, I love this one. Joe and Jay forcing him to stop working remotely. Yeah, we've gone full Ratcliffe. That's what it is. And he went, right, that's it. I'm quitting.
I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done. Giving it a go says, is Jay going to do a forfeit if we reach 750k? Yes, I will shave my head. I will shave all my hair off if we reach 750k. That is a promise. That's been Joe Smith. I'm Jay Moy. Don't forget to check out the link in the description for Manscaped. Use the code HOUSEN, 20% off on free shipping. This has been The Brew. A big goodbye to Ollie. Let's say bye-bye, Ollie.
Bye, Ollie.
Bye, Ollie.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. Bye.